the surface. Investigators say it could provide important clues into what caused the disaster. BP installed a new blowout preventer on the plugged well Friday. All right, by some estimates, the average American family actually throws out nearly $600 worth of groceries every year. Why? Well, they think they're actually ditching bad food, but it turns out much of the time it's perfectly good to eat. Joining us right now, live from New York, food safety specialist Shari Portnoy. So, Shari, good to see you. So, we're saying it's not as simple as just reading the label, the expiration label?
Exactly. For instance, for perishable food, there's actually no law saying that you have to have a certain expiration date. The only thing the FDA actually regulates is infant formula. So the numbers that you see on foods like the fish or meat or eggs is really what the manufacturer deems should be safe. So don't throw things out at all.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you because you mentioned eggs, because specifically eggs in the carton apparently are good for 3 to 5 weeks. So if we see that expiration date on those eggs, are we saying that the manufacturers keeping into consideration 3 to 5 weeks, or now we need to say to ourselves, we've got 3 to 5 weeks post this expiration date? Help me out with that.
We need to say to ourselves 3 to 5 weeks, but the most important thing is to store the food properly. So most people, if they get sick from an egg, it's not because of the expiration date. It could be because they didn't store it properly. So the most important thing with eggs really is to keep them in the refrigerator under 41 degrees.
Okay, so now we're talking about non-perishable goods, food on the shelf, good for up to 5 years, depending on the amount of acid in the food. Like what?
Exactly.
Talking about tomatoes?
Well, for instance, anything can. The higher actually the acid level, it's interesting. Usually with a high acid level, it's good to about 1.5 years, and with a lower acid level, it could actually be good up to 5 years.
And the only food mandated by the FDA to have an expiration date would be infant formula. That you really need to adhere to.
Exactly, and that's the only one. And the problem is a lot of people see the date. There was a study done. People who ate yogurt and saw the expiration date on the yogurt said it didn't taste good. Other people ate the same yogurt, didn't see the expiration date, and said it tasted okay. So the really important thing is not the date of expiration, but actually storing the food properly and keeping it to the right temperature. Okay,
and you mentioned that some of these dates are determined by the manufacturers, and about half of the states, I guess, require perishable goods have that kind of statement on them. But let's move on to the sell-by dates. The last days a store can actually sell an item. I've seen that on breads, for instance. But then what about consumption?
A sell date is... Exactly. A sell date is actually the date that they actually can sell it by. But it's very different than a quality assurance or a use-by date. That's just up to discretion of manufacturer. And the manufacturers do actual testing on it to determine those dates. But when you see a sell-by date, that date is for the store. So a use-by date or a best before date is for the consumer. But don't throw it out. Don't waste your food. The best thing is also to notice that those dates could also be from how many dates you open the food. For instance, if you open your milk and it's exposed to air, it's going to be good for less amount of time than milk that wasn't exposed to air.
Okay, and meantime, I guess what makes so many people throw away good food? Is it because they, are throwing things away upon expiration? I mean, where's the $600 million
A lot of people see the expiration date.
Yeah.
Exactly. People, like the study done, people see the expiration date, they think it's not good, and they throw it out. Don't use that as an indicator. Don't waste food. We have enough problem with wasting food. But really the most important thing with your food is to know to keep foods cold, cold foods cold, and hot foods hot.
Okay, rather $600 per family in some instances across America per year that they actually throw out. Good food, but now they don't have to, thanks to your advice. Shari Portnoy, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Good to see you from New York.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, well, just